Do you own gold? Do you own silver? Do you own any of the other precious metals? You probably haven't thought of this, but if you do, you've made a decision not to own these. So I ask you this question: why then do you value your ounces of precious metals in these? It doesn't make sense, but we've been brainwashed. We've been taught to do it for decades and decades. We've been taught that this has value because we had to be taught that this has value. This is a piece of paper. It is literally unicorn fart dust, whatever you want to call it, make believe, funny money. It can be printed into infinity. When silver and gold, the truth of the matter, those are real money and have been for thousands of years. So why do we have such a difficult time not moving away from this idea that our precious metals are valued in currency? Look, we know this is valuable. A 10-ounce silver bar. It's valuable today. It would have been valuable 2,000 years ago. It would have been valuable in 1971. This was valuable in 1971 as well. It was actually about 20 times more valuable than it is right now because it's just paper and it's been depreciated, right? So it's so absolutely critical for precious metals investors to realize that when you buy gold, when you buy silver, you are making a decision between investing or putting your money into a fiat currency or putting it into precious metals. You're protecting yourself against the fiat currencies when you do make the decision to purchase precious metals. Because when we're making a decision to buy this instead of holding this, we're buying this to protect against the risk of holding this. Let me know how you feel about this. Do you make the mistake, I know I do, of thinking of your quote unquote investment in silver, in gold, in dollar terms so that you can make a profit if the price per ounce were to go up in dollar terms? Now that doesn't make any sense, does it? It's really interesting when you take a look at long-term charts of real assets, things like oil, things like land, things like food, and you price them in oil. On a long-term basis, what you see is a real steady line with not much volatility. If you do that same thing, look at the price of oil, look at the price of land, look at the price of food in dollars, for instance, it's a jagged, volatile mess. What that tells us is gold and silver maintain a steady value over time. All fiat paper money systems have failed throughout history. And if and when that happens again, sure, the price of gold and silver will skyrocket in whatever your local currency will be. But likely the price of everything will skyrocket at the same time. The big key is that your gold and silver will maintain their value. But, and it's a big but, and don't forget, I like big buts, the key here is that only maybe 1 in 200 of us actually own physical metal, actually own and invest in gold mining stocks like I do. So the mad rush to get there will set up what will be some temporary situations where we can harvest great value from our metals and from our mining stocks, like buying a house or buying a farm or some other productive asset with what right now would sound like an unbelievably low number of ounces or maybe shares in your favorite mining stock. You are the most important part of Ron's Basement, and I honor the fact that you've decided right now to spend some time with me, the Blindfolded Bear, and this crazy unicorn I have next to me tonight, but no, you're always welcome here. On a serious note, we like to dive a little deeper into the precious metals, into the economy, into the geopolitical situation of the world. We want to hear from you. Leave a comment in the comment section below. If you want to come back, you're always welcome here. I hope you found a little home away from home. You can subscribe. Hey, if you want to support Ron's Basement, you can also check out my other channel, How to Ron. Now let's get back to this discussion about gold and silver. I understand that a couple hundred years seems like a long time to us, but it hasn't been that long ago that the founding fathers of our country wrote into the founding document, the United States Constitution, that gold and silver are real money. And then a century later, J.P. Morgan himself said essentially the same thing. Gold and silver are money, everything else is credit. How do you feel about that old adage? Good money always drives out bad money. And are we witnessing that right now in the vaults of the LBMA and the COMEX, where the physical metal available to be delivered, the registered inventory, is getting precariously low? Is that because people are taking delivery, big money, wants the metal delivered to them off the exchanges, out of the ETFs? Are we witnessing that firsthand right now? People are getting scared. They're making the decision between the paper money, right, and the real thing, and it appears that a lot of people, and especially people with big money, are wanting the real thing. And aren't we humans generally creatures of habit? Isn't it accepted that we can look back at history and see what's happened in the past and apply it to today's situation? Isn't it clear as day when we look back and we see that anything besides gold and silver, when used for money, whether it's in a paper money system, whether it's tulip bulbs, or maybe even today, this new form of electronic money, quote unquote, things like cryptocurrency, that at the end of the day, they all wind up worthless, that they're really nothing more than unicorn fart dust, because gold and silver are the only real money. They always have been, and they always will be. What do you think we'd hear if we talked to someone who lived through Weimar Germany, or someone living in Venezuela today, or someone who had all their money on the FTX cryptocurrency exchange that was endorsed by Tom Brady, and the founder was great friends with Bill Clinton? What do you think those people would tell us? Would they have rather had their money in those schemes, right? Or would they rather have had their money in gold and silver? I think that's an easy answer, because when all heck breaks loose in the world, we always know that gold and silver are valuable, and they're valuable everywhere. Hey, thanks for joining me here in the basement. Watch another video. You can go check out my merch shop with the Blindfolded Bear, hats, shirts, you name it, we got it all. Most important, be well, and I'll see you next time.